Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So Hare Krishna, dear Prabhujis, dear devotees, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. And in our last session we read the 40th verse. Now we are reading the 41st verse. Very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita and very important concept, information Lord Shri Krishna is giving to Arjun ji and to all of us. So the verse says Vyavasayatmika बुद्धिर एकः कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा हि अनंताश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम्. व्यवसात्मा एक बुद्धिर एकः कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा हि अनंताश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम्. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकः कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा हि अनंताश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम्. So Vyavasayatmika buddhi, Vyavasayatmika, resolute Krishna consciousness, buddhi, intelligence, eka, only one, iha, in this world, Kuru Nandana, O beloved child of Kurus, Bahu Shakhaha, various branches, he indeed, Anantaha, unlimited, cha, also, Buddhaya, intelligence, avyavasayinam, of those who are not in Krishna conscious. So Vyavasayatmika, Vyavasayatmika, resolute Krishna consciousness. Swami Srila Prabhupada is translating, is giving meaning, resolute Krishna consciousness. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Vyavasatmaika buddhir ekah kuru nandana bahushakha yanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, a strong faith in Krishna consciousness that one should be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrid Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karm Krita Hai. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family, traditions, humanity or nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need not or he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudevam Vasudevah Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, by which one comes to know perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As water on the root of a tree is automatically distributed to the leaves and the branches, in Krishna consciousness one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's action, then everyone will be satisfied. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna. And one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Shrila Vishvanath Chakravarty Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi dhyayam stuam stasya yasyastri sandhyam vande guru Shri Chaitanya. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically, when there is no longer chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. So, very, very wonderful verse and very important concept Lord Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjunji. Very, very important concept. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, he explained so many related concepts, Krishna conscious, transcendental concepts. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekaha kuru nandana. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, resolute Krishna consciousness. Swami Srila Prabhupada is explaining the word Vyavasayatmika, Vyavasayatmika. So combinedly the word is Vyavasayatmika. Vyavasaya, which also means occupation. So Vyavasayatmika buddhi, intelligence. When intelligence is resolute Krishna consciousness, Swami Srila Prabhupada is explaining, because in the previous verses Lord Shri Krishna, first he explained the nature of the soul, and he also explained that we are the living entities beyond the body. But in the bodily conception of life, all of us are thinking that we are body and we are acting with fruitive mentality for fruitive results. And one is engaged, Swami Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that one is engaged in fruitive activities because of one's reactions of good and bad activities of previous life, pious, impious activities of previous life. One is engaged because one has got fruitive mentality, because all of us consider ourselves to be body and we are forgetful of our real nature. We are totally in a forgetful state that we have a separate existence beyond body, and all of us are eternally related with the Supreme Being, and to serve the Supreme, that is our eternal occupational duty. So all of us in this material world, we are acting to satisfy our gross and subtle material bodies. sense gratification. We are acting with fruitive mentality. So Lord Shri Krishna, he started after explaining about the soul, after explaining that the living entity is beyond the body. Now Lord Shri Krishna is explaining Arjun ji about actions which are done for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, by which we saw in the previous verses, in last 2-3 verses, by which one can free himself from the reactions of one's work. If one works with buddhi, if one works with intelligence of pure knowledge, then one do not get resultant reactions of one's work and one can free himself. Karma bandham prahashyasi, Lord Shri Krishna explained in the previous verses. Buddhir yoge tvaimam shunu. So what is the benefit? Lord Shri Krishna is explaining what is the benefit. So those who are on this path are resolute in purpose. Now Lord Shri Krishna is explaining that those who work in Krishna consciousness, or those who are conscious of God. Krishna consciousness means those who are conscious of the Supreme Lord and they work for His satisfaction only. So those who are on this path are resolute in purpose. They are very, very resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Ekaha Kuru Nandana. O beloved child of Kuru Nandan. O beloved child of Kuru dynasty. Lord Shri Krishna is addressing Arjun ji as beloved child of Kuru dynasty and he is explaining that those who are acting in Krishna consciousness or acting with Buddhi Yoga or acting with knowledge of the Supreme Lord, Krishna conscious, God conscious. And what is the benefit? Previous verses Lord Shri Krishna was describing. When you act by such intelligence, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Karm bandham prahashyasi. So those who are acting in Krishna consciousness, conscious of the Supreme Lord, being conscious of the Supreme Lord, they are resolute in purpose. Ekaha Kuru Nandana. While those who are not conscious of God, those who are not resolute in Krishna consciousness, those who are not conscious of God and are acting in this world, their intelligence is many branched. Bahushakha hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Vyavasay, those who are avyavasay, opposite of vyavasay. So those who are not, O beloved child of Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So first of all, Swami Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he explained what is the meaning of word Shraddha or faith. One can act for the Supreme Lord when one will have faith in God. Or when one will have proper understanding of the God, then only one will act for the God. That's why Swami Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport, the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudevah sarvamiti sa mahatma sadurlabha. They are very, very rare, such people who have complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord and that Vasudeva is everything. In this world, everything is Vasudevaha. The whole world, every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and the whole world, whole creation is His manifestation, is His energy, even the material world, spiritual world, any world. So Vasudevah Sarvamiti, such people are very, very rare. They are not common. Mahatma Sudurlabha, very rare. So the resolute purpose of A person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge by which one comes to know perfectly that Vasudeva is Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. He is the root, and Swami Srila Prabhupada takes his wonderful analogy as water on the root of a tree is automatically distributed to leaves and branches in Krishna consciousness. One can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone else will be satisfied. So this resolute purpose or this resolute determination, one cannot be determined or one cannot act in Krishna consciousness or for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord unless one has proper understanding of the Supreme Personality and one's relationship with Him. So that's why Swami Srila Prabhupada, he began the purport, he explained the strong faith in Krishna consciousness that one should be elevated to highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. By watering the root, all the branches, all the leaves of the tree will automatically be nourished. So that intelligence, and intelligence is always backed up by knowledge. So unless one is in the knowledge, Vasudevaha Sarvamiti. So Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, Lord Shri Krishna is explaining Vyavasayatmika. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, resolute Krishna consciousness, intelligence is a strong faith in Krishna consciousness that one should be elevated to highest perfection of life. One will be elevated to highest perfection of life. All of us, we want to perfect ourselves, we want to perfect our lives while living, and we are trying in so many ways. Everyone want to be perfect, everyone want a perfect life, everyone want to be perfect and everyone want a perfect life, and we are trying in so many ways. By gaining knowledge, by acquiring skills, by gathering money, by accumulating money, by accumulating strength, we are trying to become perfect, and we are increasing sense gratification. We are trying to make our life more and more comfortable because we are thinking we are bodies. So comfort of the body, luxury, we are aspiring for all those things, and we are thinking we are related to humanity, nationality, family, and by serving them or working for our extended sense gratification, we are trying to perfect our life. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Swami Srila Prabhupada took the reference, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrd Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. That is the meaning of faith. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrd Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. So real faith in God is, and that faith is backed up by knowledge that the Krishna is the root of all manifestation. Vasudevaha Sarvamiti. So that is actual meaning of faith. That by serving God, all my other duties will automatically, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita hai, automatically will automatically be performed by watering the root. So So that is the meaning of those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Their aim is one. They want to satisfy the Supreme Lord by their actions, by their activities, by their work. That's why it is known as Karma Yoga. When by actions, when by karma one wants to satisfy the Supreme Lord, that work is known as Karma Yoga. But to perform this yoga, one should have Vyavasayatmika buddhi. And that buddhi is also backed up by knowledge. Krishna conscious knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudeva is the root. And that's why Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. So all of us, we are so fallen in this material world, especially in this age of Kali. Even we do not have real Shraddha or real faith in the Supreme Lord. That's why for us, the path recommended is sadhana bhakti. Ado Shraddha, sadhu sanga, bhajan kriya, anarth nivritti. Then one gets nishtha, strong faith, sudrida nischay, shraddha shabde, vishwasa kahe, sudrida nischay. So all of us in this age, and Arjunji is playing the part of a conditioned soul, a fallen soul of this material world. And the Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the battlefield of Kurukshetra when Dwapar Yuga was about to end. When Lord Shri Krishna, so just he knew everything, Lord Shri Krishna knew everything, and for that reason Lord Shri Krishna is giving this transcendental knowledge, this science. So after explaining the science of soul to Arjunji, now Lord Shri Krishna is explaining the science of karma, science of work. By acting in Krishna consciousness, one changes the quality of work. That is the unique quality of work. Swami Srila Prabhupada explained. Krishna consciousness is the best quality of work. In the previous purports we saw activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectations of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. So first Lord Shri Krishna explained about soul, dull matter, material body. Now he is explaining the science of work to Arjunji and to all of us through Arjunji. Because it was known to Lord Shri Krishna that people in this age of Kali will be bereft of spiritual knowledge. They will be bereft of Vedic knowledge. So, in a small conversation with his friend, with his eternal friend Arjunji, a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna is trying to summarize all the Vedic knowledge, the essence of all the Vedic knowledge for the benefit of humanity. So all of us, we are here in this world, we are acting. Bahu shakha hi anantascha. Our intelligence is many branched. We are not resolute in Krishna consciousness. Our intelligence is many branched. Even if one is pious, people with tender faith in God, and those who are trying to act religiously in this world, in this life, so they are also trying to serve self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. simultaneously. So one is trying to nourish the tree by watering all of us in this material world, we are trying to nourish the tree by watering various leaves, various branches, but we are not, or we do not have the knowledge of the root, that Krishna is the root of all manifestations, and In, in that way, actually, we are seeing that we are frustrated in our attempts to get satisfaction. Even though one is watering each and every leaf, each and every branch, still he is seeing that the tree is becoming weak. One feels dissatisfaction in this material world because we are forgetting to water the root. And that's what Swami Srila Prabhupada explained. Fruitive activities are engagement of one's reaction from past good and bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness. So activities in this material world, because there is duality, something is good, something is bad, but activities in Krishna consciousness are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Hence, they are free from material good and bad reactions. They are completely free from all reactions. And if Supreme Lord is satisfied, then everyone else will be satisfied. So Arjunji is also thinking in terms of good and bad. But Lord Shri Krishna here he is explaining in the previous verses, he started Sukhe dukhe samay kritva. Be equipoised in happiness or distress, in labha labho jaya jayo, without any consideration for happiness, distress, victory, defeat, loss or gain. Tato yuddhaya yujasva, just for the sake of fighting, for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. As I am saying, I am recommending you that you should fight. So that Swami Srila Prabhupada explained. But because we all are conditioned in this material world, and in conditioned state we actually do not know, and we do not have strong faith, neither we know our occupational duty, our eternal identity. So one has to work under the able guidance of a spiritual master. Spiritual master who is a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of God in this material world. And he has received knowledge in parampara and is working for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, and he knows very well the nature of his students. So that's why Swami Srila Prabhupada he explained service in Krishna consciousness, however, is best practiced under the able guidance of spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. So if one wants perfection in Krishna consciousness, if one wants, as Swami Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, by acting in Krishna consciousness, one comes out of the bodily conception of life. Though theoretically Lord Shri Krishna explained that we are not these bodies, he explained that we are spirit soul. But when one cannot act on that platform, but if one start acting, that is also true. That if one start acting in Krishna consciousness or for the satisfaction of Krishna if one start acting in Krishna consciousness, being conscious of the Supreme Lord, then one automatically comes out of the bodily conception of life. That also Swami Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is the renunciation of material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. So by acting in Krishna consciousness, Because we do not have, because we cannot see ourselves as a spirit soul, as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and we are completely forgetful of our real identity, and we are considering, so one cannot come out of the bodily conception of life theoretically just by knowing the theory. In the previous verses, 30-35 verses, Lord Shri Krishna explained that we are not the bodies, we are beyond bodies. But that can only happen when one start acting in Krishna consciousness, and by progressive Krishna consciousness, one automatically comes out of the bodily conception of life. But to act or to achieve, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of bonafide spiritual master as one's mission in life. So to come out of the bodily conception of life completely, one has to obey the orders and instructions of a spiritual master who is out of the bodily conception of life. In the forthcoming verses, Lord Shri Krishna will explain तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम ज्ञानिनस् तत्वदर्शिनः. Because a bona fide representative of God, a bona fide spiritual master, he is the seer of the truth. He has seen the truth, tattvadarshinaha. And because all of us, we are ignorant in this material world, we have not seen the truth. So we should take shelter and of a bona fide spiritual master and consider or take his instruction. Take his instructions in our life. We should obey him and take his instructions as our life and soul. That will make us well versed in Krishna consciousness. That will give us perfection in Krishna consciousness, that will take us out of the bodily concept of life. And one will be free from fruitive mentality completely. One has to act without fruitive mentality. That's what Lord Shri Krishna explained in the previous verse. Sukhe dukhe samay kritva labha labho jayo jaya. So by acting in that way, one can free himself from karma bandham, and one can get the perfection of life, which is a liberation, getting one's eternal identity, occupation, Krishna conscious duty, Krishna conscious work. So by satisfaction of the spiritual master, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado, Swami Srila Prabhupada quotes from the prayers of Shrila Vishvanath Chakravarty Thakur, a great Acharya in the line of disciplic succession, Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarty Thakur, in his famous prayers for the spiritual master, he writes, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya aprasadan na gati kutopi dhyayanstu amstasya, yasya stri sandhyam bande guru Shri Charanarvindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, yasya aprasadan na gati kutopi, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. Because we are ignorant, but the spiritual master is tattvadarshi. Because he has seen the truth, and he can only properly guide everyone or his students or his disciples how to act in Krishna consciousness, how one can satisfy the Supreme Lord Krishna, and he knows the nature of the student. So if one do not satisfy the spiritual master, there is no question or no possibility of satisfying the Supreme Lord. One can satisfy the Supreme Lord only by satisfying the spiritual master. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied, and by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day. Dhyayam suamstasya yasasya sandhyam vande guru Shri Charanarvindam, and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. One should accept the instruction of the bonafide spiritual master as one's mission in life. If one wants perfection in Krishna consciousness, then one should act as per the instructions. One should fully obey the representative of God, one's guru, one's spiritual master, and should take up his instructions as one's mission in life. Accept his instructions. So that's what Swami Srila Prabhupada. The whole process, however, depends on the perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically by practically. When there is no longer chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities, one who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various type of fruitive activities. So those who are not resolute, those who are not fixed up in mind, but that Vyavasayatmika buddhi can be attained only with perfect knowledge. And as the whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception. So when one has proper knowledge of the soul, when one has proper knowledge of the super soul, of the Supreme Lord, then one can be resolute in Krishna consciousness. Or being, one can become really conscious of the Supreme Being and can act for his satisfaction, for his pleasure, for the pleasure, as Swami Srila Prabhupada explained in the previous purports, for the sense gratification of Krishna. Without thinking one's own sense gratification, one should act for the sense gratification or for the pleasure or for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Being conscious of the Supreme Lord. That's why it is called Krishna conscious, because Swami Srila Prabhupada, he says, we perfectly know the name of the Supreme Lord or the God as Krishna, and that's why Krishna consciousness, acting, being conscious of the God, being conscious of the Supreme Lord and for his satisfaction. So Karma Yoga, and those who are not conscious, those who are not resolute, their intelligence is many branched. They are independently trying to satisfy self, family, country, society, and they are baffled in their attempts to individually satisfy everyone. But if one understands that Vasudeva, Lord Shri Krishna, is the root of all manifestations, and if one tries to water the root or tries to satisfy the Supreme Lord as per the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, then automatically one does the best service. Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing. One can render the highest service to everyone. By acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. One renders the highest service to oneself because one do not know that he is spirit soul beyond the body. And that's why working in Krishna consciousness, one gets transcendental bliss, which comes from inside. Even though if the body is neglected, bodily comforts, even though material sense gratification is neglected, but by acting in Krishna consciousness, as Swami Srila Prabhupada explained, one derives transcendental bliss. That is the reason, because the soul is satisfied. So one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, to oneself. By acting for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one renders the highest service to oneself and to family, society, country, humanity, everyone. So those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekah guru nandana बहुशाखा हि अनंतश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम. Those who are irresolute, their intelligence is many branched. Their aim is one. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. That is the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So wonderful verse and wonderful concept, and Swami Srila Prabhupada gave a wonderful explanation or purport of the verse. So with this I would like to stop here. We'll take up another verse in our next session, and we'll try to read and understand through the wonderful purport of Swami Srila Prabhupada. So till then, Jai Vishnupad, Paramhans Parivrajacharya Shtrotra Shat, Shri Srimati Divine Grace of Charnar Vind Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. All glories to His Divine Grace, Krishna Kripa Murti Abhay Charnar Vind Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Shri Krishna, all glories to Bhagavad Gita, all glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Holy Name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.